Hello, hello. Well, it's been a hot minute since I uploaded any videos pertaining to Blender, so it's definitely long overdue. I've been learning some really neat shader stuff, and I wanted to showcase that. I've also been trying out this new paper VTuber thing. I made this funny little character on the top right. Okay, so let's begin here. I was thinking about making a shader where you take a Vertex Colors and it'll modulate it within the shader, and it does some sort of like cool hue shifting and painterly effect. So what we want to do right off the bat is just make this a bit easier here, where we can have our shader information. And I don't think I have screen space at the moment here, so I'll hopefully remember to say what keys I'm pressing here. Okay, so Vertex Colors are quite an odd one, where we need to create a group where they live. And it's actually quite easy. When we have an object selected, we can go in here and click Vertex Colors, add this on, and its default is color. We can name this anything we want, but color should be good for now. And to add it in to the shader network we have here, we have to add in something called attribute. So we click on that, click here, and we're looking for the kind of attribute and name. So it's going to copy this name and place it here, so color. And we're going to use the attribute of color, and we're just going to plug it into the base color here. And just to showcase that, this is what it looks like. Now we have nothing here currently, so as a test, let's open up our Vertex Paint and let's paint a different color here. And you can see here it's being painted on, just the red color. Now if you erase this, you can see nothing's appearing here. What it looks like is appearing is just the geometry ID, or sorry, the normal space ID here. So just remember to hit color and we'll have our red, or any color that you've chosen here. Okay, so we have this. This is just the basis of what we're going to be doing here. So I'm just going to paint this like red or this pinkish color, and just, it doesn't really matter what color we paint this as a demonstration purpose. And remember, Vertex Colors take the amount of vertices here, so if you want finer control, you'll need more verts. Just as a demonstration, if we go back to Object, Edit, and if I add a couple more vertices here, we can go back to Vertex mode, or sorry, Vertex Paint, and now I'm able to paint across the middle. So if I choose, let's say, a yellow, you can see I click here, and I'm able to paint that. All right, so this is good for me as a demonstration purpose. Let us just go back to object mode and let's start manipulating this. So when we think about like paint strokes, we want to have like slight color variations, and we'll be using the color here to drive this color here to drive our brushstrokes. Sorry, not brushstrokes, our color choices. So we can split this up into separate groups that hue shift slightly, and it'll be creating brushstroke masks to use as an opacity for the factor. So let's start that. So we'll add in a hue saturation. We'll plug the color here. Let's add a couple here. So this can be our base. This will be our, let's say, complementary. And let's just add another wildcard as an example. So if I go here, you can see you're able to manipulate the colors this way. So let's just put it at 1 for this demonstration purpose. And this one here, maybe let's bring it down, maybe a slight variation like that. Okay. So now we're going to create our brushstrokes. Let's just call these our color. It's always nice to have groups here. That was with a Node Wrangler hotkey, Shift P. All right, so we'll put this here. And let's add our brushstrokes. Now there are a number of ways to do this. I'm going to be using a noise texture and a Moose Grave texture. So if I go here, Moose Grave and a noise texture, and we can see what it'll look like here. Take a look at that. These look kind of neat. Let's blend them together with a mix RGB. And when we put these two together, let's take a look here. We can start trying to like make some sort of interesting brushstroke here. Maybe we can find something like that. Maybe bring this here. And now this is, again, highly up to your interpretation, your aesthetics. I'm just doing this as a demonstration purpose so that everything isn't super smooth. So if you have a specific idea of what you want your masks to look like, by all means, use what you have. Okay, so I'm trying to find something here that would look kind of like that, just breaking it up a bit. So this looks good for me, I think. That's just a demonstration purpose. Yeah, like that. Okay, so we have this connecting to each other. I'm just going to clamp that. We're going to need another one of these, but make sure this is a mix. I'm going to use this to drive the colors, and if I plug this in here, behold, you can kind of see this is the factor mixing in between the two. So this is here, here, and this is the two. So if I start mixing this, you can kind of see the colors just slightly modulating like that. So based on our brush strokes, so you can see it's modulating like that. And we can go in and make another brush stroke. So let's do Shift P here and call this brushstroke. Actually put that there so we can actually see that color. And we can copy this, bring this down here, make a new group with Shift P, brushstroke 2, and let's see what this could look like. So let's see here. We can manipulate the shape using mapping and why is this popping up here? That's weird. Yeah, so we can use it with a texture coordinate and mapping. This will really fine tune it. So like I can start changing the kind of strokes that appear down if I wanted more like that. I can also go in here and say maybe I want more vertical looking strokes. And you can see this is kind of like a triplanar texture. We can manipulate each side, but I'm kind of content. Let's try this. No object. Texture. Yeah, let's try and find something interesting. Like that looks kind of neat. I kind of like it going straight like that. And let's maybe find something interesting here. I'm eyeballing all these colors here, so let's see. Maybe like that could be interesting. Okay, so let's bring this into color here, bring this here. Nope, sorry, this over here, and this will be our third color. Place it together, and you can kind of see it start to look interesting. We can add in some neat effects like color dodge to see if that would add anything differently. Mix. Oh, there we go. Okay. Probably bring saturation and value up, and this is just like the very, very basic of using Vertex Colors and map masks. So let's bring this here and call this stroke manipulation, and bring this over here, and we can bring this to the base color, bring this over here. Give it some time to think. All right, so that's kind of cool. Like this is pretty much it here. It's a very quick video. If you wanted some areas to be more shiny, we can use this as a mask to plug it into the roughness. So we can do that right now. So I go add in a color ramp, plug this in here. Let's look for the roughness right here. So let's plug that up here. Whoops. Having some time to think. My space is actually quite low, so it might be causing issues with the shader stuff. Alright, and now you can see that if I start manipulating this slightly, you can kind of get some interesting effects, but it looks like, there we go. Let's see what that looks like. So these areas are really shiny in between, and we can invert this to have the opposite effect, but I kind of just like it slightly like that. Cool. Alright, so we have our shader kind of like ready to go. So let's call this Painterly shader. And if we start like adding in cool shapes or like more building-esque things, this will propagate throughout everything. So as an example, let's let me think here. Let's add, what can we do really quickly? Yeah, let's add a cylinder, and maybe let's make a little tower. So I'm just going to invert it like this, bring this up, and then let's extrude this out. Let's try to make some sort of interesting shape here, just to show you the full extent of what this kind of technique can do. Let's do that here, bring this in the middle, bring this up, bring this here, bring this up, and then again, let's do this, extrude this out, or maybe inwards, just for an interesting shape. Like this, boom, boom, inwards like this. That's with a Alt-E. Again, this is just a demonstration purpose, so don't worry if you can't follow along. This is just to show you that it can add into like different effects. Extrude like that, and I think this will be a good basis. Alright, bring this up, shade, smooth that, sharpen that, and let's add our cool shader. So you can see like it's the roughness is already mapped around. And now all we have to do is just go into Vertex Paint and just start coloring this. There's a cool hotkey that if you do Shift K, it'll just fill everything in. So check this out, Shift K, everything's all yellow, and you can see like in certain areas, it's already manipulating itself to pink. So if I go to red and start painting this, you can see like it's starting to be pink in certain areas. So let's do this like this, and you can really expand this shader. You can add in more brush strokes, you can add in like the way the color modulates a bit more. But I think this is just like a really cool way of getting something fast down with some kind of like neat aesthetic look like this. And you can easily build this up. You can scale it up to be kind of cool, to have more modulations. And so I'm just getting really wrapped in just coloring this thing. Kind of looks Eastery now. Alright. So yeah, small video. Hopefully you can expand on this. I just wanted to show that. Alright, thank you.